Welcome to the Briar Patch for the first game of the night of the All A, girls All A uh, region. Game features the Somerset Briar Jumpers and the Danville Admirals. I'm here alongside with Mr. West. I'm excited for a good game right now.
Oh, absolutely. Hopefully this is the first game of the tournament. Let's see if we can get some fireworks going. Tips controlled by the ads. Got to cut the ball off there. Too easy to get in the lane. The basket's by Nala East.
Yeah, I think Danville's really known they're a really good driving team.
Mm-hmm.
In order for Somerset to really compete in this game, they're gonna have to, put a good fight up into the paint.
Yep.
Very similar to what we saw in the Somerset Danville Christian game last night.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They love to run that dribble drive offense.
But I like the Somerset post presence. I've been really surprised so far this season by Macy Huff. If Somerset turns it over.
Yep. Danville showing that speed already.
But I've been really surprised. Macy Huff, just a seventh grader, and she's done a really good job on both ends of the court. So I'm excited for her future here, and she's done really good so far this year.
Yep. And I will say the games that I've watched this year, it's out of necessity, but at the same time, you got to give Coach Laughlin credit. He's allowing, speaking of which, that's a tough take, just a little bit strong, but you got to give him credit, it's out of necessity, but at the same time, he's giving middle schoolers opportunities to get meaningful minutes.
And that's honestly huge for the development of the program.
Looks like it was off of Somerset there. It's a tough take. That's one thing that we do need to keep an eye on tonight. Maddie hopefully not getting in foul trouble because Somerset, they do have a thinner roster.
This might be Maddie's first game back from injury. I know she was out for a couple weeks, so it's good for Somerset to get her in the starting lineup and have a little bit more experience in there.
I believe it's her second game back. She was back for the PC game.
Oh, yeah.
But, you're right. You're an athlete. I'm a coach. We know that injuries, you're not going to come back your first game back and just be 100%.
Yeah.
That's a good look right there by Serenity.
I do like it. Looks like Coach Laughlin has really put a lot of pick and rolls into this offense, and it gives a younger player, but Macy Huff, she's done a really good job at that on the year. And
yep, she's had two great looks there.
Sophie Barnes reaches in.
Yep, picking the pocket. It's a good pump fake.
Puts a shot up. It's off.
Yep. You'd like to see her come under control just a little bit more there.
And that move, you'd probably consider it a floater. It has become more popular in basketball. Players, they kind of run off balance, but it's kind of hard to get those shots under control.
Yep. That's good stout defense, even though the basket goes. And, you're right. That's the direction in which the game has trended, It's a perimeter game for sure, as the viewers during the PC game could attest to. That's a hard no call. 3-point basket's good.
So it seems like everything's really kind of going good for Danville right now. All their shots are falling. They're getting some stops on the defensive end.
Yep.
But, it's early. You have a bunch of time to, the Somerset coaching staff has time to see, what Somerset's doing wrong, and they can make adjustments, and that's kind of what makes a good team great. You got to be able to make adjustments, and
you've got to.
When things don't always go right, that's how you win games.
Right, absolutely. And I don't think Coach Laughlin greatly appreciated the call there. I think he wanted a foul on Serenity. And for those of you that are just joining us, remember, this is the first game of the single A tournament here at Somerset High School.
Yeah, for the girls, there were two games last night. The first game it was boys. The first game was Somerset and Danville Christian. It was a pretty good game, back and forth. Danville Christian came out on top. The score kind of looks a little bit deceiving. It kind of got a little out of hand at the end, but it was neck and neck and within single digits for the majority of the game. So that was a really good game. And then a really good game, the second game last night between Trinity Christian and Bergen. It was back and forth, and it came down to just a possession or two. So two really good games, and I'm hoping for two more tonight.
Yep.
is the second game of the night. Danville Christian and Danville boys play, so that should be a good game
Yep.
too.
And you just know that the city of Danville's going to be watching that one eagerly. It's a great inbounds pass here to Huff as she's getting double teamed.
And Somerset has seen a bunch of full court presses this year.
Yep.
I think teams see how young Somerset
Oh,
is.
that's a great. Oh,
Just off. But Somerset's seen a bunch of press this year, so I think
Yep.
they're going to be able to handle it better because they've seen it a bunch so far.
Yep. The last game they didn't handle it as well, but like you said, they've seen it a lot. And it seems like there have been adjustments made. It's a scramble for it. Got to cut the ball off.
So far, Danville's just been a little bit more aggressive, and
Yep.
those offensive rebounds with those threes, the ball can kind of go anywhere, and they've just been right
Yep.
there. Is Macy Huff,
That's a great look.
and she draws a foul. So good job by Macy Huff right there to get into the paint and
Mm-hmm.
go up straight and get a foul.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, she is a 7th grader. So
There is a lot of potential there too.
there is. There are not many 7th graders anywhere in the state that are getting meaningful minutes in a high school basketball game this early on.
Yeah, and where the Somerset team, they've really hit the injury bug early, but
Mm-hmm.
she's been right there and she's got to step into a really big role, and I think she's done a really good job playing
Yep.
that.
And I do know, as a coach, it's just so difficult when, players that you count on do go down with injuries. I know your sister unfortunately went down with one. Emmy Midden went down with, was it 2 ACLs?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's a great look. Jump in the lane.
One thing I do notice about Macy Huff's game, she doesn't really like that left-hand side
No.
if you cross back over to the right, but
No, she doesn't.
that's a really good job of anticipating
Yeah.
the pass, and she was right there.
Hey, and I mean, she's generating offense right now. There's that floater you were speaking of.
Yeah. Danville's still sticking in this full court press, but
Yep.
they kind of get lost a little bit behind in situations you can see right there. They're just able to get back and recover, but
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of holes in this full court press that Somerset can take advantage of.
Yep. That's good. Good kick out.
They put up a three,
Yep.
and it rims out.
And that is one thing that does hurt Somerset a little bit is long rebounds, and then they lead to that.
And that's what's going to happen. If Danville's able to get the ball and continue to take shots, they're going to fall, and that's something you see
Mm-hmm.
in kind of all sports. If you're a Kentucky basketball fan, that's something that might upset you a little bit, is like giving up offensive rebounds.
Yeah. That's a great move by
Maddie
Maddie.
Cooper gets over to the left side and a great
Yep.
layup. So far, I feel like Somerset has done a good job in the post, and they've gotten a bunch of layups.
Yep. And they've got some really good looks in the post too, like you said. And what I like is Somerset's not settling for outside shots. It's good defense.
I think they know their strengths. I guess they've kind of seen something where they can take some shots on the inside, and they've done a good job so far of being able to get those shots off.
Absolutely.
'Cause there's another floater. I think
Yeah.
Danville really likes the floater game.
They do. They like breaking down the defense and getting to where it's just a little bit inside mid-range and then getting good looks.
Sophie Barnes takes the ball up for her jumpers.
Yep.
One of the more experienced players on this team. Her shot gets blocked out of bounds.
She's doing well to create her own shot.
Yeah,
Just-
I would like to see more shots taken from her, as she is one of the leaders of this team.
Yep.
She really
She's
has
the
a-
leading scorer, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, and
correct?
she has the opportunity to really take some shots.
Yep.
And kind of put the team on her back, and that's something that I think Coach Laughlin will
That's a
want
good
to
move.
see.
Just a little bit strong with it. Yep, you're absolutely right. And, I mean, her and Serenity right now out on the court are the two upperclassmen. And I believe you've got 3 middle schoolers.
There's
You
a
know.
good rebound by Piles right there.
Yep.
Oh, and Macy Huff with the
What a
quarterback
look.
pass.
And it was a great look.
I love seeing that. That's something you see from like players like Nikola Jokic in the NBA, those full
Exactly.
court passes, and that's something you really want to see in a
Yep.
player.
Now, one thing that Somerset's doing really well is they are trying to jump passing lanes, and they've been fall
There's good
asleep. Yep.
defense.
Yep. Fell asleep, but was able to still recover.
Look, another pick and roll
Yep.
situation.
Hmm. And that's just one of those things where, with experience and, just
thought I saw a
I thought that was a travel, didn't you?
But Danville really just has been able to get most of their shots to fall tonight, and I think
Yep.
that's so far been the story of the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
The shots falling and shots not, but
Yep.
I feel like we've kind of seen it all so far from Macy Huff tonight, though.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, she's throwing full court passes, taking the ball up the
Mhm.
court, finishing in the paint,
She's shown maturity, for sure.
and I think that helps. She's gotten a lot of opportunities so far this year. And she's got to play a whole middle school season too. So
Yeah.
that's something I feel like you're just going to see a bunch of progression from her.
Oh yeah.
More basketball that she continues to play.
Exactly.
Serenity Haynes
That's a good pump fake.
pulls up.
Just a bit short.
And I think Maddie Cooper steps out of bounds if she tries to save the ball, so Danville will get the ball back.
And that's the thing, something to consider here too, as you do have, what was that, 2 middle schoolers on the court?
Yeah.
Can you imagine right now if instead of and I get it, it's out of necessity, but if they were playing just middle school basketball right now, that they'd be, even but these are valuable minutes.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Haste, and he's the head coach of the girls team, the middle school team. And he said, Macy was averaging about 25 points a game.
I believe that.
At the 7th grade level. So
I believe that. She's got, 4 points right here in the first quarter, and this is, a varsity basketball game.
Yeah.
So.
And if you think about it, she's going to get to play 8th grade basketball next year. So after this varsity experience, she can really be dominant.
Mm-hmm. That bodes well for the Briar Jumpers.
Is Danville's starting to slow down a little bit from scoring. It's just if Somerset can really capitalize on the opportunities. If Sophie Barnes pulls a corner three, it's long.
Yep.
Rebounded by the Jumpers. And it's taken. It ain't fall, so really good layup.
Absolutely. It's kind of a tweener between a floater and a layup right there.
What count as a floater? I think that sounds a little better.
Oh, yeah.
Danville looking for the last shot.
Yeah.
They drive. Throws the ball up.
Hey, in Somerset, I don't think she was comfortable taking that shot, which can't blame her.
Well, I think Somerset really made some adjustments near the end of that first quarter, and I think they honestly go into the quarter with a little bit of momentum.
I
going
think
into
so.
The second quarter. So if they can kind of build on that, this 13-point lead can kind of, they can chip away at it. And
absolutely.
when you get into deficits like that, that's really the only way to go about it. You're not always going to make crazy runs. You just got to chip away, and kind of anything can happen. It's high school basketball.
And that's the thing, you said it, momentum. The last 3 possessions, Danville found that it was not as easy going as, earlier in the quarter.
And you're going to have times where all your shots are going to fall, and then days and quarters where it's not. So you it's a situation where you can't really give up. You just got to keep shooting, especially for Somerset's end.
Exactly.
A lot of those shots those missed layups that they had are going to fall.
Yep, exactly.
But a game like this, I feel like it's a big game because it prepares you for the postseason. This is a postseason game, but it's in the season.
Yep.
Is the best way to put it. So it puts you in those atmospheres and those games that are considered win or go home, even though you have more games to play. So I think it's a situation where it can prepare you for that district and region tournament.
Exactly.
So that's why I really love the All-A. I think it gives teams an opportunity to prepare themselves and put themselves in a postseason situation while the season's still going on and they have room to build.
Exactly, and I agree with that. It's do or die, but it's not do or die, right? I mean, like you said, it gives you that experience of knowing, like, hey, it's either win or go home.
And I like that right there, the high-low opportunity to get Maddie Cooper down in the post, and she draws the foul. So I really like what I saw right there.
Exactly. And to kind of finish that point here real quick before Maddie takes the first of 2, like you said, it gives you the opportunity to, test your mettle as far as, hey, this is win or go home, but it's not the end-all to be-all if you don't necessarily win this one, as Maddie misses the first of 2.
Yeah, and the All-A used to be a situation where the smaller schools get to compete against themselves, and normally the bigger schools are, the top teams in the region.
Yep.
But we've kind of seen a switch here recently, and especially on the boys' side, if you look, Danville Christian, Somerset, Danville, some of the powerhouses in the region are those smaller schools. So it kind of gives you foreshadowing of the matchups that you'll get to see in the region tournament. in the big games. Because that shot's sent back.
Yeah, it's blocked by Huff, yeah.
And Danville, again,
they're
really
finding it
liking
hard.
Floaters, yeah.
Yeah, they're finding it difficult.
It's turned over.
Yep. That's a tough take.
So that's something you can always clean up, or those live ball turnovers. But
Yeah.
they're going to happen, especially when a team's pressing you.
Yeah.
You get opportunities to get down the court and kind of get back before they can, but they're also going to get some steals. That's just
exactly. And I think the problem, like Sophie was anticipating going ahead, Danville size there proving to be a little bit difficult here.
That's really good defense.
Yeah, it's just difficult to clean up after the miss. But, you know, right there, Sophie does a far better job with it, navigating through traffic. It's a good kick.
4-3. It's just off.
Yep. Oh, that's great.
3 for Barnes, and it's long. So really good job by the jumpers, not giving up after the first missed shot and tipping out for the second.
Yeah, I mean, that's a heads-up play there by, yet again, a middle schooler.
Exactly. And those are things that you're just going to see more of the more they get opportunities to play. And I think that's something
that's great anticipation.
That the coaching staff and Coach Laughlin's really going to look forward to is even though right now you're struggling a little bit, but you have those younger players that are just going to get better.
Oh, yeah.
And you can only build on that.
Exactly.
So there's a lot for Somerset to really look forward to the future, and even right now because they're going to get better.
Yeah. And, I mean, here's the thing. Speaking as a coach, you know, there was no one there to clean up the rebound. You know, as a coach, like, that gives you opportunity. Like, this is teaching material right here. It is.
That layup gets blocked.
Yep. But you know what I like? And this
good defense by Sophie Barnes.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say, and the thing is, as you can see right there, tough defense leads to a foul. What I like is, you know, Coach Laughlin's teams, they don't give up.
They don't.
They don't quit, and you know, and that's the hallmark of the coach, you know.
Yeah, and when something happens that Coach Laughlin doesn't like, he's gonna let you know, and I think that's why the team really gives a lot of hustle. Like, we had an opportunity right there where you can dive on the ball, and Coach Laughlin lets them know, hey, we don't do that. We dive on the ball when we have an opportunity. Yep. And I think that's a situation where next time it happens, they'll be on the floor.
Exactly.
That kind of is a testament to the coach and the culture that he's trying to build.
Exactly. That's the only thing that's hurting Somerset at the moment is the size.
I think we get a foul on the Admirals right there. And
I do believe so.
Macy Huff getting up and getting the rebound and staying strong.
I think that's their third of the quarter here. Or team second.
And it's a whole lot different than it used to be, where it used to be 7 fouls and a half. Yep. You in the bonus and 10 to the double bonus.
Well, now it's 5, and then you get to the
5
bonus.
5 and a quarter, yeah. Yep. So they don't do a normal 1-and-1 anymore. It's just straight to the double bonus.
Yep. That's a great take by Sophie, even though it gets blocked. I mean,
Danville's size is really showing.
Yeah.
Right now.
It is.
It's kind of hard whenever everyone on the court is kind of bigger than you, and you're going to have situations where your shots get blocked.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, Sophie did a good job creating her own shot. It's just like you said, you know, that size, it's frustrating.
Sophie Barnes gets another 3, and it falls 2.
And it's from the same spot of the wing where she got the last look.
And if I'm Coach Laughlin, I'm drawing up plays at that point to get her more shots from that position.
Yep.
So I believe that hot spots really are a thing, and there's certain positions on the floor that players are more comfortable shooting in. And I would kind of stick with that and really give her more shots at there where you've seen her hit 2 in a row from that spot.
And that's the thing, you know, if Somerset's going to fight and claw back into this game, which you know that's Coach Laughlin's idea to not give up, you're going to have to get Sophie going.
Yeah, that's a really big part of it. And as what I was saying earlier, she is one of the older players on this team, and she's probably the most experienced at the varsity level. So you got to have her taking those shots because she's shown the ability to hit them.
Exactly. Looks like Somerset's in a 2-3 zone.
Yeah, so changing it up, I think where Danville's starting to not make as many threes. If they'd have hit one right there, I would regret saying that. But they've not made as many threes. So they're they're struggling in the paint more
Yep.
defensively. So they're trying to have an extra person down there. So I like the call by Laughlin right there.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, it's strategic, right? Like it's meant to, put the Admirals like in a far, especially in the paint, it clogs it up.
Yeah, and when you're in a 2-3 zone, you're gonna give up 3-point shots. That's kind of
Yeah.
just part of it. You
Well,
can see.
yep. And even though it's clogged up, I mean, that size, which we have alluded to, it hurts. Somerset doing a better job of breaking this full court pressure. It's a great take by Huff.
And I really like that. That was just a great job. She saw the crease in the defense.
She splits the two defenders.
And you're in a one-on-one right there. And when you're athletic, you can get up there and take a contested layup. If Somerset gets another steal, I feel like their zone is really showing.
And even though that shot was missed,
really good job.
Yep.
Gets
the
offensive rebound.
Yep.
Misses again and goes back up. So that's a really good
Exactly. And what I like about that is, even though the size is still an issue, you see right there fearlessness, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's another thing. If Somerset goes on a mini run, and I think they get that momentum back. Coach Laughlin making the call going to the 2-3 zone. As you can see on the replay right there, a really good drive by Macy Huff right there. And I think it just shows that 2-3 zone, it threw them off a little bit.
Yeah.
They probably didn't game plan much for the zone. So when you go out there and you see a different look, it's sometimes hard to adjust for an offense.
And I don't know for those of you at home if you can hear this, but I do know that listening to Coach Laughlin down there, they're really keying in on number 11.
Yeah, and she's done a really good job kind of in all facets of the game. She can shoot a little bit. She can drive into the paint. So
Yep.
And she is the point guard for the Admirals too. So.
And that's the thing he was talking about. Whenever whenever she tries to go down and create her own shot.
There's a three right there.
Yep.
And a good rebound.
And that's good to hold the ball up. Just be patient with it.
Powell's surveying the defense a little bit. Danville staying in a man-to-man so far.
Yep. Calling for a screen by Huff. Waved it off. And that's the only thing that hurts, I mean, if you dribble out in the perimeter for too long, it can lead to runouts like this.
And Danville has gotten a bunch of fast break opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
That's knocked out of bounds by the Admirals.
Yep. I'll tell you something you haven't seen. And watch me jinx it by saying this. Jump ball situations. I don't know I've ever seen a basketball game go a full half without a jump ball.
For some reason, in girls basketball games, there is a lot of jump balls.
Lot.
I don't really know the reason behind it, especially in like middle school girls basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like 10 or 15 a game. It's kind of crazy. The Somerset's running a little bit of a box set right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that play.
Yep, just got a little too deep under the basket, but I mean, the give and go.
Yeah, I like that. Getting the handoff, and she had a good layup opportunity, so I like the play that was drawn up right there.
Yep. I like the aggressiveness of it. You got to stick. Yep, you got to stick with that.
When you're running a zone, the high post is kind of that vulnerable spot where you really have to.
Soft spot.
Yeah, it is, and you got to make a game plan for how you kind of guard that, and there's different ways to do it, but you're always kind of giving something up.
Exactly.
And that and three-point shooting are kind of the two negatives.
Yep. It was good by Serenity right there.
Pass.
What a look.
I like that look right there. Macy, nice little back cut right there, and Serenity sees it.
Yep.
So I really like that right there.
And what's good, even though Serenity hasn't showed up on the score sheet tonight, she has made some good looks. She's made some good movements, and yet again, that's one of those two upperclassmen that's in there as the first one rattles in.
And Serenity is the only senior for this team.
That is correct, yep.
So, Somerset does have a bunch of young players on the court, but like we said, it leaves a bunch of room for improvement. So
it does. Macy connects on both of them.
Danville gets another three off. It is off. I think Somerset just loses a
Yep,
box
they got
out
Macy
opportunity
on the.
right there. Yeah.
Yep.
That's something that it really bothers coaches, but it is a hard thing to do. Boxing out,
Yep.
especially whenever the shot goes up, you have to find the defender and turn your
Yep.
back to the basket.
And it's a filling out process,
Yeah.
like.
Sometimes you don't really see where the ball's going, and
Yep.
it's hard, but
Mm.
it's something you kind of got to master and continue to work
Yep.
on. And where Macy's young, she can only
Exactly.
build on that.
Well, and the court awareness too. I mean, the fact that she is a seventh grader, you probably are dealing with, high schoolers that, you know, more mature bodies, and
Yeah.
and it does play a factor.
Oh, and I
Oh,
love
what
the
a look!
pass. And the
Good
layup.
take.
That's a really good job by Serenity Haynes right there to
Yep.
throw the full court pass. We've
Yep.
seen a couple of those tonight, and I really like those, especially against the press when sometimes the defense is really focused on what's going on this
Yep.
side of the court.
And they lose sight of what's going on behind them.
And sometimes you can leak back to your side.
Yep.
This is a big minute and a half for the jumpers right here.
In fact, I look. That's
Sophie
great.
Barnes.
There's great anticipation, even though she doesn't come up with it.
But look, they do a good job recovering. That's
Yep.
what all you can really ask for.
Gives it back. Oh.
And good hustle by
Yeah,
Sophie Barnes. And Maddie Cooper takes a three, and it's off the backboard.
Yep. Just a bit strong with it.
But I really like the hustle.
Yep.
And Somerset gets another steal.
Yep.
Sophie Barnes, layup opportunity, and just loses the ball.
Yeah, getting her head up just a little too early. And what's crazy is the timing isn't deceiving you folks. I mean, this first half has gone by fast.
It has, and not really many stoppage, and
No.
they're running a lot. So
Yeah.
you got to imagine that they're both pretty gassed out there. And
Oh, you know it. Well, that's the thing. We talked about the jump balls. Well,
Yeah.
that usually kills clock, and there just has not been any jump balls. She connects on the first. Airmail's the second.
Because with about 40 seconds, Somerset might try to take the last shot, but
That's what I was wondering.
Where you're down, you might be trying to, get as many possessions as possible.
Yep.
So there's a bunch of options.
That's
a good drive by Serenity.
Yep.
And it
It
looks
just
like
got
Macy might
blocked.
have been fouled. That shot's blocked, but Somerset will keep the ball with 20 seconds. And I think Coach Laughlin calls out here. I don't know if one's a player, if they're holding for the last shot. But 20 seconds, you probably will be holding for the last
Yep.
shot just because you want the opportunity to score, but not let Danville get any more points.
Yeah, exactly. Try to cut into this lead a little bit more, get it closer to single digits than not.
It looks a little bit of a dribble drive by Somerset. As Maddie Cooper draws a foul.
Yep.
I think that's only 4 fouls on the Admirals, though. So,
It is. Neither team's in the double bonus.
but if Somerset's able to draw another foul,
It will
half,
minute.
yeah, they will get the bonus. So,
Yep.
It is a rule that I'm still not completely used to, but I don't know if I like it or not.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons to both. I mean, it's nice to see it reset in a way. They do it for flow. Yeah.
With 5 seconds left.
Yeah.
And she draws a foul. So that was
foul.
a really good. That was a really good job.
Yep.
Able to get in there and with 0.8 seconds left, so you get the opportunity to shoot 2 free throws with Danville not really probably going to get another shot off. So
No. And if they do, it's not going to be a high percentage look for sure with 1.1 left on the.
Yeah, and you can see
Or
Coach
0.8
Laughlin
rather.
gets his players back.
Yep.
Just don't let them take any long throws down the court. The second free throw falls, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think a better end of the second quarter for the jumpers. Going into half, the Admirals are up 37-24, but I think there's kind of a lot of positives on the Somerset end. I feel
Oh
like they're
yeah.
starting to figure things out a little bit, and
I think, especially compared to the last game when they played against Pulaski, the offense looks a lot more fluid. You like seeing Macy come into her own. Uh, just some of the things that have hurt Somerset, throughout the season. You know, some of the things I've seen is, like full court pressure tends to hurt them. It's not hurt them as much tonight.
it hasn't. I think where they've seen it the majority of the year, they've really done a good job at kind of not rushing themselves because
Yep.
that's normally the instinctive thing to do. Is whenever you see the full court press, you're really worried about
Yep.
making the play,
Exactly.
and you like 10 seconds doesn't seem like a long time in the backcourt, but it kind of is. You got
It
a good
is.
amount of time to wait and not make a rush
Yep.
decision,
Well,
and that's really what the full
yeah.
court press forces
Well,
you
and
to
it's
do.
just like in football, like where us defensive coaches, we always say, what's the age-old adage? Make them snap it again.
Yeah,
Well, in basketball, make them dribble more. Make them
exactly.
dribble it again, because the more that happens, the more likely a mistake's going to happen.
But now I think we'll take a break. We'll be back
Yep.
for second half action, and it starts in around 9 minutes. So we'll see you guys then.
Yep. We'll see you guys then.
And we were back for second half action between the Admirals and the Jumpers. What, Mr. West, what do you really want to see from the Jumpers in this second half to really, call back and get back into this game?
Well, I'll tell you some of the keys that I'm looking for is you see Somerset starting out in a 2-3 zone, and this was actually one of the points I was going to talk about is seeing them stay in that. Is really get Sophie going, continue to get Macy, high looks. That's a tough take.
And there's number 11. You said also that Coach Laughlin was providing an emphasis on her. So she is a player you really have to look out for. And I think Somerset will really have to key in on her and limit her touches in the paint because whenever you have a really good point guard that can drive into the paint, they have a bunch of options.
Yep.
Okay.
They call it out on her.
I'd like to think Sophie got a little bumped out of bounds out there, but
yeah.
I mean, it's a call that's always 50-50.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, it's just one of those things where the only thing that's hurt Somerset down there is whenever they get too deep under the basket. I mean, they're getting penetration. I mean, that's not necessarily an issue. It's just they're getting too deep. But, you were asking me like some of the things I want to see. Definitely the 2-3 zone, getting Sophie going.
And that's Somerset ball.
Yep. And that right there, Somerset had several opportunities where, either jumping passing lanes, getting back tapped passes, what have you, and they were able to get, to steal a possession, pun intended, but, to get high quality looks.
Yeah, and I've also really liked what we've seen from the other 7th grader, number 13, Nora Grider. She's done a really good job kind of in all facets of the game. Really good defensively, got a bunch of steals, fast break opportunities. So
yep.
I really like what I've seen from another young player on this Somerset team.
Exactly. And you can hear Coach Laughlin. I mean, I love it. The coach in me can't help but love the intensity that he shows.
And that shuts off.
Yep.
And there's just another offensive rebound.
Good.
Serenity Haynes able to get the pass.
Yep.
She drives and goes up strong.
Hey.
Really good paint finish by Serenity Haynes right there. Just turns around over her back shoulder and gets a really good little baby hook shot right there.
And and we talk about it, so far the two upperclassmen on this team right there, you see dominating these possessions start the second half.
And that's really what you have to have. Your young players are going to give you good plays, but they're also going to make mistakes just because they're young and they don't have all this experience.
Yeah, and you're looking for your upperclassmen to provide the calm and composure that is needed. Yep. Maddie doesn't like the call. Can't help but love it. Maddie, she's bulldog mentality, which gotta love it.
Yeah, and some refs kind of have different perceptions, but whenever keeping your hands up isn't the only thing that gets you out of a foul. If you bump into them or bring your hands down at all, sometimes refs immediately get to that foul call. So.
Exactly. Makes one of two there.
But Somerset so far in the first a little more than 2 minutes has came out with that intensity that they ended the second quarter with. They've done a really good job to, play hard on the defensive end, get those fast break opportunities and play big in the paint. And I feel like that's one of Somerset's strengths is they have some really good post players. And you kind of got to rely on them, especially when threes aren't always going to fall.
Exactly.
Higher percentage shots are closer to the basket.
Exactly. And what I do like is, yet again, like you said, intensity, just not giving up.
You see, Danville gets a fast break opportunity.
Yeah, but Somerset does a good job.
Danville takes a three.
Yep.
And it's a little short, but they get the lucky shoot and bounce.
And the thing is, like, even though there's a turnover there, Somerset's defense is still stout. Like they recovered decent there.
Yeah, and that's always something you're going to turn the ball over. If you can get back and contest a shot defensively.
Yep. Serenity tried to thread it in there. I was about to say, is this our first jump ball of the game?
I thought we were getting one. But see, look, Somerset able, in these fast break opportunities, they're able to get back and kind of settle into their 2-3 zone a little bit.
Yeah.
As I say, they give an open corner shot. But good box out by Serenity.
Oh, but someone had to come back for the ball.
Oh, and a good job by Serenity. And we get a foul. I think that's going to be on the Admirals.
Yeah.
It's a little chippy down there in the paint. And you're going to get that, especially in a game like this. Somerset and Danville they're known to be rivals.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the rivalry is kind of shrunk a little bit because Danville I mean, they're not exactly the powerhouse that they've
Yeah.
always been, but
Yeah.
Somerset's had a very long history with Danville, and there's a little bit of hate between those two schools.
Look no further than our coaching staff.
Exactly.
Look no further than that. I mean, it is what it is. It's one of the older rivalries in the state, and like you said, even though it's kind of died down a little bit, maybe so much on, the football scale of things, but it's still there.
It is. And you can see it really anytime Somerset plays Danville in any sport.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of extra like bad blood between the schools.
Yeah.
Between just instead of a normal matchup, you can see the rivalry there.
There's no love lost.
And here you got the 7th grader Grider just up at the free throw line, able to get into the paint and draw a foul. And again, it's we've talked about it a lot this game, but the 7th graders are really playing good for the Briar Jumpers, and you just gotta love that. Even though they're younger players, they've done a really good job to kind of help Somerset stay in the game.
And that's the thing. Like it's not even the fact that they're middle schoolers; they are 7th graders, and they are producing in a all-A regional tournament basketball game. Like, I mean, I don't think that can go understated. And even right now, like Nora tries to, pick up from her missed foul shot. Like, she cracked it.
You just love the hustle.
Yeah.
That they're short. There's and good job by Maddie Cooper to really get in there and disrupt the play. Sophie Barnes gets the fast break layup opportunity to fall. So that's what you really want to see from Somerset right there.
Cuts the lead down to 13.
You got the intensity on the defensive end, and it leads to a fast break opportunity, and that's really all you can really ask for.
And you asked me, that's one of my points is, transition buckets.
Exactly.
And gotta have it.
Especially because you see it a little bit more in girls basketball. You're gonna get some layup opportunities. And most of the time, the team that wins the game is the team that capitalizes on those opportunities.
What a pass.
Oh, my goodness.
What a grab.
It's just a little off, but what a beautiful pass right there by Mason Ho.
Jeez, Pete, dropping in the bucket.
You might have a good powder puff quarterback there in a couple of years.
Don't get my – come on now. Oh, goodness. Hey, you're right, though. I mean, that's an arm.
And that's something you really don't see from young players.
No.
Instead of really focusing on getting the ball up the court, they're looking ahead and trying to make that home run throw. And so Sophie Barnes, top of the key three.
Oh, just a bit short.
That's those shots you're okay with Sophie Barnes taking now.
Well, and the thing is, like you said, picking her head up, and they call the travel on her, picking her head up and having the audacity to thread that ball. You don't see that from many high schoolers, period, let alone, the young guns here. So, I mean, it's impressive.
Exactly. When we got a full timeout by Somerset, Coach Laughlin probably got a few things to talk over with his team with. I think one thing that he's going to keep stressing for the rest of this game is you got to rebound the ball. Danville's had a bunch of opportunities to get offensive rebounds. I think that's probably the main reason that they've been able to stretch out to this 15-point lead because they've gotten second chance points and even some third chance points. And that's just something – it's hard to win a game if you give up those offensive rebounds.
I mean, and it's just extra possessions. It's longer for you to defend. I mean, it's just like you said, it's extremely difficult to just be able to. If a team gets enough shots, enough attempts at the bucket, eventually it's going to drop.
Yeah,
right? And
you got to give some credit to Danville. They have been really physical, and they've done a really good job of getting off of those box outs. So, I mean, they've put in a great effort so far tonight. So you have to give the Admirals a little bit of credit.
Yep. Shout out to Rubel out there.
Cleaning up the court.
Not all heroes wear capes, ladies and gentlemen. I have to say it. Love Jason to death.
So with a little less than 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter, the Admirals they're maintaining their lead, but they're not really growing it at all. They're still at about they're at 15 points right now. So
yeah. It stayed somewhere between 11 and 15.
Yeah, it's stayed around there most of the game.
Yeah.
So Somerset's still fighting and not giving up, even though they jumped out to, besides the big lead that Danville jumped out to early, it's really been pretty even.
Yeah.
I bet you if you look at the scores just between the second and third quarter right now, they're probably pretty close.
Yeah. I bet it's more. Maddie gets it back.
And Danville showing a lot of intensity on the defensive end. Sophie Barnes with a good drop in the lane.
And like I said, that's what I wanted to see right there is, upperclassman. She's our leading scorer. And, hey, I mean, if the 3-point attempt is not there, create your own shot.
Yeah, and when you have that shooting ability that Sophie has,
Yep.
it really opens up the drive it sometimes because they're so focused on keeping you like from shooting the three that you're able to kind of catch them off guard and drive into the paint.
I have to say,
If she gets that corner three
she does.
and it's just a little left, that would have been a really big shot to fall right there. Because Danville gets a fast break opportunity.
Ah,
Danville gets the and one.
yeah. And
Mason Huff
that's
gets the foul.
yeah, the offhand, and that's just that's a savvy veteran move right there. I do have to say though, I love the fearlessness that's being shown by not just the young guns, but especially them. You know the fact that now the lead, like you said, it's not really grown. It's shrunk here and there, but like it's not really grown. Like it's just kind of stayed, even killed, which tells you the type of intensity that Somerset's also pouring into it.
Is I like the move by Sophie right there. She just loses the
Yeah.
ball on the
Yeah,
spin
just a
move.
little bit out of control, but
Danville gets another fast break opportunity.
yeah.
And that was number 23 Caldwell for Danville. One of their bigger players. She's done a really good job at really leaking out on those fast break opportunities, and her teammates are getting the ball, and she's getting down the court for those rim runs and getting those fast break points, which is something that Danville's really exceeded in so far today. Somerset sets up a high ball screen.
That's a
Serenity
good take by
rejects
Serenity
it.
getting the foul.
And that's a really good job. That's a move right there. You see that in the NBA a little bit. Sometimes players get a little bit too far under the basket, but when they see an opportunity to put a shot up that they're probably not going to make, but they can draw a foul, and they're smart enough to get to the line.
Yep, they know that they're going to be able, like, either banging their body up against the other player or forcing it to, like forcing into their body so that they have to more or less like foul you.
Yeah, and it's not always about making the shot. If you can get to the line, you're getting the other team in foul trouble, which is a good thing, and you're also giving yourself to get points on a shot that you probably weren't going to make. So it's really a win-win situation when you're able to draw a foul like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one falls. So Trinity Haynes goes 1 for 2. And Somerset's still just sticking around.
It's not really. I mean, it kind of got closer to 20 right there, but yet again, it's not completely gotten away from them.
And there's another floater. Rebounded by Huff. Look, she keeps her eyes up a little bit when she's going on the fast break, which is something you really like to see. She kicks out to Sophie.
Yep.
She's settling in.
Yep.
There's just a veteran move by Milo Turner. She's a senior for the Admirals. Again, one of their best players. She's their leading point guard, and that's just great anticipation, able to get in there and get the steal and get the fast break opportunity.
What a take. I mean, that's fearless, even though it's a hard take.
Oh, and the turnaround.
Yep.
So that brings it into the third quarter. The Admirals are leading the Jumpers 53-34. With 8 minutes, with one more quarter to go. Danville just really kind of, I think one thing that's helped them out a lot is they're older.
Yeah.
They've got more experienced players on the floor.
Yep.
And I think even when the score's close at times, that's what allows them to kind of slowly build their lead is you end up making those veteran plays, getting those extra steals, those fast break opportunities, and that's just something you're going to see from a veteran team.
And I mean, it's just like you said, the situation is what it is for Coach Laughlin at the moment. I mean, you've got a younger lineup, you have injuries as we've discussed previously, and it just makes things hard. It does. And, when you have upperclassmen like Danville does, I think Danville, if we're looking here at their roster, they have 2 seniors, or no, they have more than that. They have like 5 seniors. They have several juniors. I mean, and it shows. I mean, it is what it is. And I think more so than anything, I mean, you're never going to wave the white flag, but if you're Coach Laughlin, you're looking at this tape saying, yes, the score is not what we want it to be, obviously, but there are positives.
Yeah, and I was looking, Danville has 9 total upperclassmen between juniors and seniors. So they
Yep.
do have that experience, and that's
Yep.
something that they do have over the jumpers. But
Yep.
Somerset will have
Oh
that
yeah.
experience, and with these younger players, where you have seventh graders playing by their
Yeah.
sophomore year, they've played as much as a lot of the seniors
Exactly.
that they're playing against. So
Exactly.
getting them opportunities
Great
young,
take by
yeah, and a
Serenity.
great take by
Yeah.
your only senior, Serenity
Yeah.
Haynes, and that shows those plays that those seniors are able to
Yeah.
make with that experience that they
Exactly.
have.
And I mean, for those listening at home, I mean, you just got to imagine what is it going to look like in about 3 or 4 years
Exactly.
when these middle schoolers are upperclassmen. I mean, if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what does.
And you have a couple sophomores too with
Yep.
Maddie Cooper and Sarah White who
Yeah.
will be the leaders of that team.
Exactly.
You're gonna have a really good team in a couple of years
Exactly.
that I feel like can really compete with anybody in the region.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, and like we said, you know, it is what it is at the moment, but these are learning moments. Every single possession, regardless of score, is so valuable, not just for now, but like you said, in the future.
It's a great play by Maddie
That's
Cooper.
a heck of a take.
But she gets a rebound and misses again. But you
Yeah.
like the aggressiveness.
Yeah,
She makes a good
exactly.
play. She misses the layup, but
yeah,
you see the effort, not giving up.
Yeah.
She tries to get a rebound and put up another shot, and that's really all you can hope for, especially when the shots aren't falling.
and that's the thing. I mean, she created her own shot, off the ball foul.
And then the Somerset defense right there forcing a walk. So you see they're not giving up. They're still putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Even though you're at a 17-point deficit, you can tell they've not given up.
Yeah. And I do like this lineup on the floor.
You do. You got your mix between, your older and your younger players.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's really all you can ask for.
Oh,
A
what a
really
take by
good job.
Sophie, yeah.
She gets pushed a little bit under the basket where she can't use the backboard, but she's up there and she's able to put the ball right over the rim. So a really good play right there by Sophie.
And I mean, here's the thing: you cut that lead just ever so slightly.
And there
Good board.
Danville's kind of getting a little out of rhythm. It's Macy Huff. As Maddie Cooper gets in there and draws the foul, so
good, Maddie.
You force a shot a little bit, but you have people crashing to get the rebounds, and that's really all you can ask for.
And the thing is, transition opportunities.
Exactly.
I mean, it puts the defense at a disadvantage.
When you have a shot, when the other team misses a shot and it doesn't hit the rim, it kind of catches them off guard a little bit. And if you can really capitalize on that and get down the court, you can really have the advantage.
Yeah. And knowing Maddie like I do, I mean, that's got to frustrate her. I can see it on her face.
Oh, that's something that will definitely frustrate you more.
Yeah.
But it's typed out of bounds by Danville, so you get the opportunity back.
Exactly.
That's really the best thing that can happen on a missed free throw. If you're able to get the ball back, it's kind of hard on the other team too because you think it's
defend it again.
Yeah, exactly. And a really good play draw. Sophie Barnes gets the defender to jump, and the shot just a little off, but a really good rebound by Nora right there. And just that's all you can ask for. Again, another young player making a big play for Somerset.
Exactly.
And another opportunity at the line. At some point, the free throws are going to fall.
Yep.
There it is.
Yep.
Oh, and we get a but it falls, so the basket counts.
Yeah.
That's a situation where the Danville player steps over, and if she misses, we get another opportunity.
Yeah. The look on her face was pretty priceless, too. She was
I don't think you knew what was going on.
Yeah, she's like, oh.
Oh, I love the defense right there. I think she might have just barely got the Danville player's arm, but good effort by Sophie Barnes right there.
Yep.
As Danville calls a timeout, so Somerset really starting to get a little bit of some things going, and at one point that lead was I think at 18, and Somerset's cut it all the way down to 13 right now.
Yep.
So.
And I mean that's the thing. I mean I think that's what led to Danville, calling the timeout is like, I mean and you can hear the coach. I mean, But I mean, that's why they call the timeout because Somerset's not going away.
Exactly. And I kind of like the intensity from Danville's coach. Sometimes you have to, get up in them a little bit and tell them. And Danville, they had a great coach that just retired last year with Judy Mason, probably one of the best to ever do it in the state. A really good coach. And you kind of got to keep that intensity.
Yep.
You got to be intense sometimes as a coach, and I like seeing that.
I mean, far be it from me to tell a coach not to be intense. I mean, it's part of it.
Sometimes you got to find a little bit of a good mix, but
you do.
There's different ways you can coach those. Some coaches are, more calm, but I think there's really not a right way to do it.
I don't think there's a right way to do it. I think the right way to do it is being authentic to who you are, and just staying true to what your principles are.
And also, some players are coached differently. There's some players you can take that yelling more, and then other players that can't. And that's just something you got to see as a coach.
Exactly. I mean, and that's part of being a coach too, is being a people person and understanding your players.
And Somerset sticking in the 2-3 zone.
Mm-hmm.
They've found a lot of success with it right now.
Yep.
Is looking another opportunity. And Macy Huff gets a big rebound.
She's looking up.
Looks ahead.
Just a bit.
And overthrows it a little bit.
Yep. But I mean, you love the idea.
I do, and she really likes that long pass down the court.
Yes, she does.
She's made the play a few times, so I don't think that's really something that you get mad at. You let her make those plays because she's shown she has that ability to do that.
Yep. Like you said, I'll see her in Powder Puff football in a few years.
That shot goes up.
Yeah.
And it rims out.
Yeah,
and I think that foul's going to be on Maddie Cooper right there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they call it on Macy Huff.
It'd be her third.
I feel like Danville's really been getting the shooters bounce tonight.
Yeah.
A couple threes bounce high off the rim and fall, and some free throws that kind of hit all the rim and fall into.
From my vantage point, that's an interesting free throw stance too.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen someone in the middle of a free throw be motioning with their other foot. It's kind of wild.
Some people do some weird things at the free throw line. It's kind of just whatever makes them more comfortable. There's some guys in the NBA, they shoot free throws one-handed now, which is really weird to see, but some people just kind of find weird things to be comfortable.
It's like we're going back to the 1930s a little bit.
Yeah, you've got a couple guys that go underhand too. It's kind of fun to watch.
It's something.
Serenity Haynes with a good drive and kickoff to Maddie Cooper. The free throw is just a little off.
Yeah.
I mean, the layup, not free throw.
Well, the way she got bumped there, you'd kind of thought it might leads to outlet three.
So with Danville stretching their lead back out to 17, Somerset's kind of slowing it down a little bit. They're probably a little winded. They're just kind of taking their time getting the ball up the court. And that give and go play that I really like. They've just not been able to capitalize.
And I like the fact that she was able to use her body to create her own shot and kind of get separation. You would like to see that go down.
Yeah, and we get a foul on the floor. I think that's on Nora right there, but as Danville gets the ball baseline out of bounds. So Danville has been able to find the high post. That's blocked by Huff.
And then good scramble.
Oh, and getting on the floor, and that's all you can really ask for. Oh, and there we get a jump ball.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was not on the bingo card tonight. One jump ball, fourth quarter, 3:50 to go.
I wouldn't have expected that.
No. And watch this be where all the jump balls happen.
We get another timeout by Danville, so I think Danville's coach maybe seeing something she doesn't like or somewhere where she can capitalize.
Oh, my bad.
No,
So with 3:49 left, what are some takeaways that you've had from this game so far, Collier?
A bunch of positives. I've seen a bunch of things that Somerset's really got a lot to see. Danville is a veteran team. That's something that you do have to take into account.
Yeah.
I think Somerset's really put up a good fight so far during this game. They've there's been points where Danville's went on runs, but instead of giving up, Somerset's responded with their own. I think there's been a couple opportunities where Somerset's just had missed layups. That's going to happen. But
Yeah.
if you can get those layups to fall, you're right in this game. And I think that's something that you can work on. You can work on those in practice. But we've seen the effort, and that's something that you can't really coach.
No.
It's something that's built within the players. And
Yep.
I like the effort that Somerset has really put out so far today.
And that's kind of my takeaway as well, as we see a tough up and under move. The scoreboard's not going to reflect it as well as what the eyes have shown, but Somerset, I feel like this is one of those games where they grew a lot as a team because, like I was here for the PC game and, mistakes were made for sure. Not to say there weren't mistakes made tonight, but the growth itself, especially by your young players, and even though, that's a travel, you can see the growth. Like, it's obvious.
Yeah, and those are plays where you can see that there's still more to build on.
Yep.
When you're more experienced, you can learn you can't really move that pivot foot, and that's where the walk's called, and you can, kick it out to another player or make a play quicker.
And I can say as a coach, there's never a play where it's not a teaching moment.
Exactly.
Even
on the positives, it's still a teaching moment. Like, hey,
absolutely.
do this more.
In fact, that's probably when you're getting onto them even more because, it's like, hey, I
know you can do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's kind of the next part is once they start making those good plays, you just got to build consistency. And if you can consistently repeat those positive plays, that's what makes you into a great player.
Absolutely.
So there's that weird free throw thing.
Yeah.
Again, it is different, but
yeah, and the bank's open this late at night.
She gets one of those that falls down with the offensive rebound.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird situations where you have a free throw, but the ball kind of kicks off kind of far, and as they hit the corner three,
stretches the lead here to 23.
Number 20 for Danville. She's hit a bunch of threes this game so far, and
she has.
That's something you really like to see. But another upperclassman player for Danville. So
and I do think we were talking earlier in this game about I guess the way basketball has changed over the years. One of the ways, and right there's one of my talking points right there. Outside of Sophie, really, I don't know that this team has a 3-point shooter at the moment.
Exactly,
and that hurts.
Yeah, it does, but it gives you're going to have a bunch of paint opportunities.
Yep.
And they are high. What a tough shot. Nice that's turnaround.
Yeah. Nowitzki-esque with the little, off foot, creating separation there.
And that's just another really good play by upperclassman for Danville.
Yep.
Is Macy Huff makes a good move.
Yep.
Gets blocked, but gets her shot back.
Gets
the foul.
Yeah.
So you see the aggressiveness that Macy Huff really plays with. She gets blocked, but she doesn't shy away. A lot of players, when they get blocked, they're kind of scared to go up again, but she's not, and she's able to go up and draw the foul and gets to go to the line for two.
Yep.
And the first one falls. I honestly think Somerset has played really good offensively tonight.
I do too.
And when they've not taken as many threes, and that's because you don't really have many shooters out there on the court. But they've played to their strengths tonight. They've gotten to the paint, and they've made a bunch of plays.
Exactly.
And Danville started to take – and another rebound by Huff. She looks ahead.
Yep.
Throws the ball to Nora. Kicks out to Haynes. She shoots a rare three, and it's off.
Yep.
Look, they crash for the rebound.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happens. But Danville kind of slowing out the clock. And you can tell Danville's about to sub in some of their younger players. So getting their younger players to play.
Yep. But, and this is an interesting take here, because this is a positive you do have to look at as, Coach Laughlin's going to bring in a few of his subs as well. The thing is, though, Danville are bringing in young players for, the first time tonight.
Exactly.
Somerset's been playing young players. And like you said, what is, 2-3 years from now going to look like? It's pretty exciting to think about.
It shows that it helps when you have a bunch of veteran players, but also it's harder to develop players whenever you've got so many older ones. So
exactly,
it does leave for some rough years maybe, but as Danville gets the ball into the paint, We get a timeout or
Yep.
no, a ref timeout.
Yeah, to bring in the subs.
You like seeing that from the ref too. I don't really think he had to tie his shoe, but
Yeah,
he, he gets those younger players in. So
I like that.
class act by the ref right there.
Yeah, I agree.
So even though there's not much time, I always look at it as even if you're a younger player, any chance you get in, it's kind of like a tryout. Like
Yeah,
you're getting in and you're getting more opportunities to play, and that's all you can really ask for.
exactly.
And you can kind of show yourself and that's for both teams. And you can see some of the younger Danville players making good plays and
Yeah.
getting that fast break
Well, and
opportunity.
that's the thing, you consider you likened it to a tryout. It gives you opportunities to show the coach, like, hey, like when you put me in, I can make things happen.
So that's going to bring into the game. The final score is going to be the Admiral 69 and the Jumpers 41. But again, a lot of positives you can take away from this game.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, people at home listening, like, we know like what the situation is, but if there are positives,
Exactly.
there are positives to be taken away, and I'd tip my cap off to Coach Laughlin.
Exactly. But again, pretty good game. There's some positives, even though the score doesn't really say that there is. But I mean, effort. They put in the effort. That's all you can really ask for. But
that's all you can ask for as a coach at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the final score of our game. We're done for the night, but you can watch the live stream on huddle.com for the next game between the Admirals and Danville Christian. So a really big game, and a really big game, especially in the city of Danville.
Absolutely.
But thanks for tuning in tonight, and we'll be back next time.
Yep.